It's Huntress right here on your classic metal show with Spell Eater. Spell Eater.
Spell Eater. Very spooky.
I haven't really gotten a handle on the whole Huntress thing yet. I'm not really sure what their persona is.
Right. Well, I know there's a chick. Isn't there a chick singer?
Well, yeah, it's a chick band.
Right.
Huntress.
Huntress.
I'm the Huntress. Searching for cock on a lonely street again. It's called prostitution, honey.
That's right, and we like it.
Huntress.
Look, now that I'm single, I support whores.
Yeah. Metal Drummer 777 wants to know if we've ever had Jill from Huntress on the show, and the answer is no.
Not yet.
We have not.
We could.
Did you listen to the ID?
I did listen to it when
she's trying to like put this whole oof into it. Listen to this.
This is Jill Janis from Huntress, and you're rocking hard with the classic metal show.
She's trying to sound like real aggressive and metal.
Maybe she should have read it once before she read it on the record.
Yeah, I don't know these girls. I don't know anything about them, aside from this fact that the label sent us the CD and the ID and all that kind of stuff. But I just find that funny when, she again, I don't know this chick from Adam, but she's probably a typical, very, I don't know, feminine girl who's trying to have that abrasiveness about her, and it just doesn't come off very well in the ID. Listen.
This is Jill Janis from Huntress, and you're rocking hard with the classic metal show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like trying to sound like tough chick. This is Jill from Huntress.
She may be trying to sound tough, but she certainly sounds fuckable.
You gathered that from an ID?
Of course I did, dude. I'm a single guy now.
Your spidey senses are out.
Yeah, there's something tingling. I don't know. It's my spidey senses.
If she's got a vag, she's good to go.
Dude, I'm in a new world than I've ever been in before.
Listen,
and pussy
dude,
talks.
Listen. You're speaking to the master here.
Yeah, but you're not as vocal about it as I am.
No, I'm not as vocal because it's not a new territory for me.
Yeah, right now that is the only thing I can think of is new fresh pussy. That's it.
Well,
I'm single and I want it.
That's very honest.
I gotta be. What am I gonna do? Well, I'm just looking for a relationship because I really need to get back to that, and I was so comfortable. Shut up.
No, it's into the fire.
Yeah, it's like I want the fire too. Some redheaded pussy.
Yeah,
all of it. Red, brunettes, blonde, whatever. Pussy needs to come calling to me.
Right. Right. Well, speaking of that.
Speaking of pussy.
Yeah, you had an opportunity to venture out from the Cleveland area and go to lands far and beyond.
That's right, I did.
And discover the fact that there is pussy for rent by the hour.
Yeah, by the hour, there is definitely pussy for rent in Atlantic City. No question about that.
Right?
But no, dude, that's the reason we didn't do a show last week was because I had and even you got to give me this. I had an opportunity that could not be passed.
Listen, if I was in your shoes, I'd been there in a second.
Absolutely, man. And to make a long story short, I have a friend, my friend Ed, and Ed is, I don't want to say how much money Ed has, but I'll just say he has a lot more than me and my good pal Neely combined at this point. Is that a safe assessment, dude?
Let's just put it this way. What you and I have combined wouldn't even make up a tenth of what he has.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I definitely think that's fair to say. But when my whole divorce thing started, he reached out to me and he said, dude, I'm going to take you to Atlantic City. All expenses paid. You pay for nothing. Bring a little money if you want to gamble or something, but I'm going to pay for everything. I'm going to take care of you. I was like, okay, that sounds fun. Why not? So that weekend turned out to be last weekend, and it was all based around Ed's a big Cheap Trick fan, and I'm a big Cheap Trick fan. So it was all based around the fact that Cheap Trick was playing at the Borgata over there in Atlantic City. So when I say Ed does things first class, he does things beyond first class, and it was unfreaking believable. Ed rented a private plane for us, which was just unfreaking believable.
Let me make you. Let's make a correction there. When I think private plane, I'm thinking La Bamba here. So let's think private jet.
Oh, it was a private jet. It was a six passenger, or I think it was an 8-passenger jet. It had 4 seats all facing each other, and then it had a couch, and it had one other seat. So
okay, so let's just put it in more modern terms. He leased a plane, and it was not flown by Chris DeGarmo.
No, it was definitely not, or Bruce Dickinson. Neither of them flew me to Atlantic City, but it was definitely a private jet. It was unfreaking believable. I think it was a Learjet. I don't know. There's pictures on my Facebook page. You guys can look for yourself. But he literally, on top of renting or leasing the jet, he bought the pilots rooms at the Borgata so that they could stay over for the sole reason of he wanted to be able to leave whenever the fuck he wanted to leave.
They were his hired help.
Yeah, they really were. And I mean, it was first class treatment all the way. You know, as soon as we got on the plane, they handed me a nice $300 bottle of vodka. Said, here.
What kind of vodka costs $300?
I don't know. It was some blue something. And the only reason I know it cost $300, it's probably a $10 bottle of wine that they jacked up to $300 to be on the plane. But
so they were turning wine into vodka?
I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I just know that Ed told me later it was a $300 bottle of wine. So that's how I know.
Well, was it wine or was it vodka?
It was vodka.
Okay, you keep saying wine.
Oh, it was vodka.
Okay.
It was definitely vodka. Because that was my drink of choice, as I will get to in a minute.
Okay.
So we fly out. It's an unbelievably cool flight. You know, we leave whenever we want to. You know, we get to Atlantic City. When we get to Atlantic City, there's the biggest fucking stretch limo I've ever seen waiting for us. Nice gray limo, huge, gorgeous inside, fantastic. You know, and we ride the 15, 20 minutes or whatever to the Borgata.
Okay.
Now, have you been to the Borgata at all?
No, I have not.
This place is immaculate. I mean, it's like going into a palace. I've been to Vegas and I've been to Reno, and so I know what casinos generally look like. I've been to the Horseshoe here, and generally when you go to these places, you know, there's a certain, I don't want to say they're dirty because they're not. They're usually clean, but there's a certain dirtiness to them. You know what I mean?
They're run down.
Yeah, they are run down. This was not a rundown place. This place was immaculate.
Okay.
We walk into the freaking lobby and they've got big giant chandeliers hanging way down low, and they got behind the check-in desk, they've got a whole assortment of live trees growing behind them and water fountains and shit. I was just like, wow, look at this fucking place. You know, and here I am in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, you know, coming into this immaculate place. And I mean, it was beyond styling, man. We go up to our rooms. Our rooms were literally 500-600 square foot rooms.
So it was like The Hangover.
It was. It really was. But it just beyond nice. I've never stayed anywhere this nice. Okay. Never. And I mean, I've stayed at some decent hotels, but nothing like this.
Sure.
So
it beats the Motel 6 where they leave the light on for you.
It definitely beats the Motel 6,
but it was bigger than the Rev's apartment.
Yeah, it definitely was bigger than Rev's apartment.
Okay.
But, you know, I mean, not that we spent much time in the rooms, because immediately we were downstairs and we were in the casino. And, you know, I'm not much of a gambler. I'm really not. I used to be. I'm not anymore. But I am definitely a drinker. So to me, the game was finding the good bar, and my friend Ed's not really a gambler either. We had a couple people with us, a few people with us, and they all went off gambling, and so a lot of the time it ended up with Ed and I, you know, just hanging out, and we found a bar called the Long Bar there at the Borgata. The hottest fucking bartenders I've ever seen, you know, and they're just feeding me drinks, and Ed is like, just keep drinking until you're done drinking. So we literally, him and I lit up the bar for about $160 in an hour.
Okay.
And I was pouring in screwdrivers. That was my drink of choice for the weekend, was screwdrivers. I had it in my dumb head that, well, it's clear liquor and it's fruit, and that's all on my diet, so I can have that.
That's good rationale, even though...
perfect rationale. Maybe I didn't have rationale that I could drink 20 of them in one day, but...
even though orange juice is very fattening, but go ahead.
Yeah, whatever. It was good for me.
Sure. It was a protein drink.
That's right. It was fruit. It was good. So needless to say, we start pounding drinks, and then Ed, of course, won't let me pay for dick, won't let me pay for any rounds, won't let me pay for nothing. So whatever, at first you feel bad, then you don't feel so bad, especially once the drinks start hitting you in the head. Then you're like, fuck it, let's roll.
Right.
So after an hour or so, we end up over at Bobby Flay's for dinner. And that place, holy smokes, dude. Have you ever eaten it? I'm sure you've eaten at a 5-star before. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. You go to like a Ruth Chris or something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
When they tell you that the food literally melts in your mouth, they're not lying, man.
That is true.
And I swear, the steak that we had at Bobby Flay's was so unbelievably good. It's like I can't even eat anything anymore because everything tastes like shit by comparison. Just phenomenal dinner. I somehow stuck to my diet a little bit. I didn't eat potatoes and I didn't eat bread and stuff, which killed me. It definitely killed me not to cheat, but I wasn't going to cheat. But we did Bobby Flay's, and that was fun. And then we went over and saw Cheap Trick. And the best part about the Cheap Trick thing is we're sitting there, we're watching Cheap Trick, and then from the stage, Robin Zander says, "Hey, we got to thank our good friend. He's best known for Seinfeld and for Curb Your Enthusiasm. David, or what's his damn name? Larry David is here tonight. Spotlight shoots right next to us. We're sitting right next to Larry David.
Nice.
We're like, holy fuck." So I met Larry David and took some pictures with him, and that was pretty cool.
Now, how was he? Because I'm a big Larry David fan. I love Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Sure.
Was it
nice guy?
I thought Seinfeld was okay, but I'm a big Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. I watched every season of it, have it all on DVD, never miss it.
Sure.
How was he?
He was nice. I mean, he was nice. He was cordial, considering who he is and how much money he has. And, he wasn't there with he was there with a guy, but I don't think it was like a bodyguard guy. I think it was just like a friend. And, he was just hanging out and having fun. And, when people came up to, because, obviously after they spotlighted him, obviously after the show, 1 million people came over to take a picture and whatever with him.
I would have been one of them because
I took one. I took a few.
I like Larry David. I think he's hysterical.
I do too. And you know me, dude. I don't take pictures with anybody. But I was like, fuck it, it's Larry David. I'll definitely take a picture with him.
Sure.
And I mean, there was probably 50 other people taking pictures with him, and he took pictures with every person. He was kind of walking his way out of the little room where they had the show. But every time anybody asked him for a picture, he stopped. He took the pictures, shook hands, laughed with people, joked with people. He was nice. He was a nice enough dude, man.
At least he wasn't like he was on the show where he had to wash his hands every time he touched somebody else.
No, he was cool, man. And he was cooler than I would have been, to be perfectly honest.
Sure.
If I was there and I was famous, I don't know that I'd have been like, oh, yeah, let me take another 400 fucking pictures.
Well, you are famous, dude. You're Chris of the Classic Metal Show.
Yeah. Somehow that didn't hold as much weight as Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I thought you were right up there.
Close, but, because he was a little bit bigger, he got all the attention, I guess.
Okay.
I guess that's how it went. But yeah, so we saw Cheap Trick. They kicked ass, and after that, we just roamed around the casino drinking for a while, and after a while, I started going from happy drunk to wobbly drunk. So I had to like go and take a little nap.
Okay.
So I had to sleep a little bit of it off, but I did for like 3 hours, and then I came back down. And then I started off the second day at like 4 a.m. or whatever, just bouncing around from chick to chick. Any chicks that were playing slots, didn't matter that there was 5,000 empty machines around them. I was like, hey, is anybody using this machine? Hey,
Nice.
How you doing, baby?
So did you get any play?
Well, I could have, and I didn't. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
Just because some of the legal, and I know it's stupid, but I wasn't, when I went to Atlantic City, I was not legally separated. I am now. But because of that, I just was like, man, I could fucking fuck up alimony and all that other bullshit.
Nice.
So I know that's dumb, but whatever. It is what it is. I chose not to on that front. But the funny part was, and I told you this story, but I'll tell it. We got approached by 2 hookers working the room.
Now we who?
Me and Ed's friend Mike.
Okay.
We got approached by these 2 hookers in the hotel, and they basically offered us the quote unquote Las Vegas the full Las Vegas experience for only $200 an hour.
Did that include a bullet to the head and a shallow grave in the desert?
Well, my comment back was, at first, you know me, I have to get raw when they start throwing that kind of shit at me. I'm like, so what does that mean exactly? Does that mean I get to fuck you in the ass? Does that mean I get to come on your tits? What does, I'm just a total dick.
Yeah, just what is the Las Vegas experience?
Yeah, exactly. And, well, she never told me. She was a little put off by the fact that I was so fucking brutal.
Okay. Now, was this an attractive woman?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you, for lack of a better definition, if you take Halle Berry and give her long hair instead of short cropped hair,
okay,
that's what we're looking at. These were hot women, and the other one was pretty hot too. But I really didn't have no interest.
So this was a woman of color.
Yeah, of course.
Would Jeff Scott Soto be more in line with her?
Look, I guarantee you that pussy would have felt fucking pink inside, so I don't really care.
How does pink exactly feel?
Soft and gushy.
Nice.
How do you think it feels?
Okay, go ahead.
How long has it been since you fucked anything, man? Jesus Christ, if you don't remember that.
All right.
Know exactly how pink feels.
Okay. Go ahead.
But no, so we, she gave me that, and then of course, once she got over the fact that I was so fucking brutal, she went back to her pitch, and I was like, well, what are you going to do for the other 55 minutes?
Nice.
I was just being a total dick.
To which she replied,
she just laughed. She just laughed. I was like, hey, maybe I'm not kidding.
Okay.
But no, yeah, needless to say, it didn't happen, dude. I was not spending $200 of my man Ed's money for some fucking strange pussy. Somehow I thought that was crossing a line with my man's money.
So what did Ed pass out vouchers on the plane or something?
No, we just knew we could run it to the room and it would have charged.
Run it to the room? These were hotel employees?
What I mean is we could have gone up to the room and I could have gone and found Ed.
Sure.
That's what I mean. Because he's 2 rooms down from me. So
right.
It wasn't big of a deal. But, I it wasn't going to happen.
Right.
But it was definitely offered.
You're just like, Ed.
Dude,
Ed,
throw me $100. Throw me a couple hundred.
Are you awake? Slip $200 under the door. Ed, are you awake?
Yeah, pull some of that gambling money out of your pocket, bro. Wake the fuck no! It wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been like that. It would have been like, dude.
Look at Studio Pro. He wanted to stick that chocolate pig.
Fuck yeah!
Stick that chocolate pig.
Stick the chocolate pig. Wow.
Wow.
Hey, we got some racists in our room. Jesus. That's not very good.
Okay, so then what happened?
So, well, nothing happened with that, and then I just went back to running around, and for the rest of the time that we were there, it was just playing some slots, and
you said playing some sluts.
Trying to play the sluts, but mostly playing the slots.
Okay.
And just hanging out, really, man. Just enjoying being out and being alive, and doing shit that I never have been able to do before. So, and then obviously we flew back, and then I stayed over and we played pinball. My friend Ed has like 400 or 500 pinball machines. So we went back to his place when we got back and just played pinball all night. And then I drove back on Sunday. But that was my Atlantic City visit last week.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, I'm a traveler.
You're the jet set. You're in the jet set crowd.
Yeah, exactly. At least for one day, dude. If I learned anything, it's that I have to become a millionaire. I have to.
Check it out, butthead. A flot. Yeah. Your mother's a flot.
Nice. But no, dude, the way them people treat people that have money is how I need to be treated.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a whole different world.
It is just totally, and I know I sound like a fanboy dork explaining it, but it really is just a different zone. I mean, everything, the way you're treated for dinners, the way you're treated in the hotel, the way they kiss your ass, and here, let me get your bags, and, the dude on the plane, the fucking pilot on the plane, not saying, listen, dick, get in the seat and put on your seatbelt. He's like, here you go. Here's some vodka just for you. This was ordered for you. And, just nice. You know what I mean? So it was an unbelievable experience. It was definitely the most fun I've ever had at a party in my entire life. It just a great time, man.
Sure.
Lots of fun.
Well, you know what? The reason that kind of stuff is special is because it doesn't happen every day.
True.
And, when it does happen, it's a very memorable experience. But, if you had that kind of money and you could do that on a daily basis or a weekly basis or whatever, it wouldn't be such a big deal.
Yeah, it would get boring. Although I would have had 2 fucking hookers that would have been fucked hard. If I had...
I'm going to give you the best 2.5 minutes of your life, baby.
Damn right. You can rub my shoulders for the other 58 minutes, whore.
Right. Nice. Well, good for you.
Fun times, man. I'm sure Ed's already talking about going to Vegas next. So
since you got such a bias against Pittsburgh, how is it that you can deal with Ed, being that he's a native from Pittsburgh?
You know what? It's pretty tough. I won't lie. I mean, Ed's not so bad. Ed's friends, on the other hand, are real pains in the ass. His friend Matt that was with us. It's like every time I go up there, I got to listen to Matt just pounding on Cleveland. I mean, it's just nonstop.
Well, it's pounding what? Because of the sports team?
Sports. Yeah, the Browns, the Steelers, blah blah blah, and really, the last 10 years, there's no defense.
Sure.
There's no fighting back, so it's like, all right, I'll just take it, whatever.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. In my bucket list for the next year, the next year, I am going to relocate to Pittsburgh.
Are you really?
I that's my plan.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll happen, but that's my thoughts. So how are you going to deal with me then?
I'll make do. I'll do the show 8 months a year and fucking skip out on football season.
Nice. Well, but seriously though, in all honesty, I'm glad you're having a great time and, getting back into the swing of things and actually enjoying life for a change.
Dude, and I mean, you've seen it firsthand how fucking miserable it was. So it is good to be not miserable. It is definitely good, and everything's going right, man. I mean, between that kind of shit and going back to concerts and just having fun and being out and, like last night I went out and did karaoke just for the fuck of it.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to stop me now. There's no I got to come home and fucking hear about what a fucking piece of shit I am from mama. So it's like...
And no doing the classic metal show on Saturdays.
No, can't do that. That would be bad. No, it's just, it's fun to actually be living my life without the fucking restrictions of what my life was. And that's not even slapping at her, to be honest. I definitely don't, and I've told you this off air, I'll say it on air too. I have no hatred for her or nothing, no anger. Just fucking, I'm enjoying being free.
Yeah, you could just do what you want to do and be who you are.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, and I'm going to keep doing it. I mean, there's no reason to stop it because for the first time in 15 years, I'm fucking happy day to day. So I'm going to keep enjoying it. I'm doing, I'm obviously I'm coming your way in a couple of weeks. We're going to spend a couple of days hanging out with you. And then Ed wants to go to Vegas. And I have another friend that wants me to come to Vegas. And
sure.
I'm rolling, dude.
Yeah.
I'm definitely rolling now, and things are fun. And, for now, I'm going to keep having fun. I'm back doing the show, and that seems to be doing okay. So it's all going good, man. No complaints.
Good.
I'm back from my suicidal days when this started.
Right. Well, speaking of cleansing of the soul.
Yeah.
You're currently working on a book and doing some blogging and whatnot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So where can people find your little posts and your rants and things?
Well, if they want to, all they got to do is follow me on Facebook, which you're going to have to search me because I think I have my settings set to private. I don't know. But my screen name is just chris-akin. If people want to follow along everybody seems to think that I'm this fucking great writer or something. And I'm inspirational and all this other bullshit, which, okay, that's fun. It's fun that people are appreciating what I'm writing. But I do write every day, whatever I'm thinking, good or bad. And, a lot of writing about the divorce, a lot of writing about fucking losing all the weight that I've lost, etc. And there is definitely a book being written. There's well over 130, 40 pages that have been written to this point. And I got a confirmation from my friend Diamond Dallas Page. He's going to write the foreword to the book, and he's helping me get a book deal that I really can't talk about right now. But he's helping me get this book deal done so that this book is actually going to happen as long as I can cooperate with the editors, which has been a problem in the past.
Sure.
But no, dude, things are just rolling, man. And, as far as the yoga and the losing weight, all of a sudden I went from just being one of the guys that was doing this shit to, now all of a sudden they've actually asked me to mentor some people and talk to people that are struggling to do their shit and get themselves healthy. And that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool it's pretty cool when your phone rings and it's, and I mean, this from having Don call you and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
There's always something that's just a little bit cool about having somebody famous call your phone.
Sure, absolutely.
And you pick up your phone, you look at your phone when it rings, it's like, hey, Diamond Dallas Page. It's like, okay, that's fucking cool. It's like you pick it up, he's like, hey, man, what's up? It's DDP.
Yeah, right.
What's things going with this guy or that guy, or what's up with you? And, it's just, I don't know what it is, whether I'm more positive now or more happy or what, but it seems like everything I'm touching right now is sort of working. So, for now, I'm going to keep riding the wave.
Right.
But yeah, people can definitely follow me on Facebook if they want to and read my rantings day to day at just chris-akin on Facebook.
Sure. Well, I've had people make comments about the CMS.
Yeah.
At times you and I get a little bit, we're very brutal sometimes.
Right. Of course.
Not all the time, but I think the word I like to put to it is honest. We're just honest about things.
I think so,
It's not politically correct most of the time. We basically just tell you how we think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because, we're afraid to hurt somebody's feelings or we're going to rub somebody the wrong way or we're going to, whatever.
Right. I personally am a believer that being politically correct is being dishonest.
Go ahead.
I've always thought that. I always will think that, man. Anytime you're going to fucking change what you say in order to not offend somebody, then you're not being honest with that.
No, you're
person.
not. You're being politically correct, which has been a big downfall for our society in general, I think.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Because
everybody.
Well, everybody's so afraid of being offensive, and the thing is that you and I don't go out of our way to try to be offensive.
Oh.
It's because we're just being honest. And I've had people, tell me or approach me and tell me, I don't necessarily agree with the way that you have presented things, but
Sure.
I get what you're saying, and you're just being very direct and very honest.
Right.
And I never thought of this before because it's not what I set out to do, but people have made comment to me that between you and I, in our commentary and being honest about things, people have told me that because of our honesty and just being blatant about things, that sometimes it's a slap in the face to the point to where it's just like you're actually helping people because it's making them realize, you know, their own vulnerability, if you will. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
no, it makes sense. But you know what, dude? It's a double-edged sword, and you got to live with both sides of it. I mean, I'll be honest. The fact that I'm that bold is one of the main reasons that I'm fucking losing a marriage.
Sure.
But whatever.
Sure.
It is truly what it is, which is, you know, I'm not going to be this fucking. Okay, well, let's go out and let's go shopping together, and you know, everything's great. I love being here at the grocery store with you. No. That I can't do that. I never could do that, and I can't do that with anything. If I'm listening to music and it blows, I'm going to say it. Look, prime example is that Dokken review that I just wrote for Pit Riff.
Sure.
Clearly, that could cause me a problem.
It
because
could
I didn't give
the fact remains is that you. Well, actually, I hooked you up with that gig about 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you're the Dokken webmaster. You maintain the site. You more or less work for Dokken.
Right.
But because of working for Dokken, you didn't go out of your way to kiss their ass on the new CD. You basically gave it a honest review, and you didn't give it 100 out of 100. You said it's 72 out of 100.
Yeah, I said it's okay. It's listenable. It's good. You know? But it's not great because it's not. And, you know, I'd rather not have the gig than not have the integrity, personally.
Right.
So, but I don't think most people are like that, dude. I mean, no offense to our good friend Andrew McNeese, but he'll tell me stuff about how he hates a record, and I'll see it on his fucking site with a 92.
Right.
It's like, dude, how can that possibly be a 92 when you hated it yesterday?
Yeah, like TNT. Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, speaking of your, you know, of your honesty and your rants and your blogging and whatever,
sure.
And I hope he doesn't mind, but our own MOL, has sent you a note.
Yes, he did,
to let you know that I don't know what you want to call this, our
show,
our show or our weekly rants or whatever has helped him on a daily basis or a weekly basis just to go, you know what, life isn't as bad as it could be.
Right.
He wrote you a note here, and I don't know if this is private or not, to be honest with you. And
it's in a public forum.
Well, it is true. So he says to you, not to sound like a fanboy, but the show has helped with some tough times and low points in my life and let me laugh when I needed to and just and wanted to cry. You and Wendell, he uses my real name. Oof, nice. He read my real name. My first name. Will always have my appreciation, and I will always be indebted to you for that. The venting angry MOL was always therapeutic. Laugh out loud. Chris, laugh out loud. There you go. Even if I was on the verge of laughter by the end of every call. You are a good dude. You and Neely truly are, and many people openly or secretly, known or unknown, have probably been cheered up and helped along through trying times by you, whether you know it or not, and I salute you.
There you go.
So there you go. But, you know, he's not the only one. I've gotten emails. I've been told that by different people. And again, this is not a CMS suck fest here. I'm certainly not. You and I certainly don't go around, man, we are the greatest ever.
Shit.
Yeah. Not at all. It's just like, hey, if you enjoy what we do, we like doing this because, and Chris stated it this afternoon the best, this is just a chance for Chris and I just to hang out.
Right.
That's all we do. We just like to hang out, be two buds, and share our thoughts and go, you know what? this is what I think about this, or this is what I think about that, or this is how I view the world, or this is, it's not to be shocking. It's not to be crazy. It's not to be, let's just do something really wacky, dude.
Yeah, because if we ever did that, then we'd actually have to plan.
Exactly. So none of this is planned.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the message here from me personally is to say, hey, thanks. I appreciate the fact that you like to listen and appreciate what Chris and I do. But to be honest with you, Chris and I, we don't plan anything.
Nothing. I mean, we come up with a list of shit we want to talk about.
And that's it. And that's it.
It really, and usually it's not like we come up with it during the week. It's, when did I give it to you this week? Today?
Yeah, about 2 hours before the show. Yeah. So it's just like, we'll present this stuff, give you our honest opinion, and we'll move on.
Yeah, exactly. And it's cool that people dig it, and that's fun, and I hope people continue to dig it. If people are getting something out of it, that's great. And clearly with me in a whole different mindset, I think the show is evolving into something that it hasn't been before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels different. To me, it feels a little different. It feels the same as far as jumping into the pocket, but it doesn't feel... There's no stress behind it anymore. There was always a lot of stress in the old days. Not between me and you, obviously, but me and others.
Well, you were trying to keep it... You were trying to keep it from getting out of control to where you could get beat up for it.
Yeah, exactly. And now I'm not, and it is definitely much more loose and much more fun and relaxed. And I think that's why we've done. I mean, we've only done 4 or 5 shows back now.
Not even that many. We've only done 3.
So we've done 3, and we've already got 18 fucking classic segments.
Right.
I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, we used to do the whole show, and we would do some classic stuff, but we'd only get maybe 3 or 4 out of each show. Now we're doing, not tonight, but most nights we're doing 5, 6 every single time, just
right.
Bang, 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 and it's
right.
good.
Right.
It's because it's loose now. So good things are coming with this show. I have a hunch.
Sure. All right. Well, let's get out of this Love Me segment. Love me. Love me.
Love me.
And I know you're working on trying to get Jesse James Dupree back on the show.
I am, man. He is difficult to track down.
I can only imagine.
I've literally sent about 20 emails, and everybody's like, well, he doesn't work with me anymore. He works with this guy. And I go to the next guy. Well, he doesn't work with me anymore. He works with this guy.
Yeah, he's a big star, Full Throttle Saloon.
He's a pain in the ass to get a hold of.
Nice. Well, speaking of Full Throttle Saloon and that kind of stuff, how excited are you for the new Sons of Anarchy?
That is the only thing on my mind. That and football. Football tomorrow, SOA on Tuesday.
Right.
I can't wait.
That's so funny you should say that, because that is the only thing that I'm thinking of. It's just like, all right, I got the Steelers tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And I got Sons of Anarchy on Tuesday.
Dude, have you seen the trailers for Sons yet?
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, it looks fucking phenomenal with Jax taking over the club. Oh, I can't wait.
That Tara is so hot. She is dirty hot.
She is a dirty little hot whore.
I love that girl.
With nice big boobs.
I don't know what it is about that girl.
She's dirty hot. That's exactly what it is. There's just a filth factor about her. You know as well as I do, she is a dirty, dirty, dirty girl.
I love it.
I love it too.
I love that. I think that should be a TV show, The Filth Factor.
The Filth.
The Filth Factor.
FilthyMilf.com.
Right. She's got it, whatever that is.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about her, man. She just looks like she would fucking hurt you.
She's dirty.
In all the best ways.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and you know what it is too, and I'll just with Tara and anybody that has not watched Sons of Anarchy probably has no idea what I'm talking about here. I don't remember. I think it was at the end of season 3. Remember when you've watched them all? I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm the one who turned you on.
Yeah, you turned me onto it. So there was a scene in season. Remember when Jax was going back and forth between Tara, but then he was cheating on her with the stripper?
Yeah.
There was a scene where Tara started banging him standing up.
Right.
And then the stripper came in, and she just looked over her shoulder and was like, yeah, I'm riding this dick now. And that fucking scene sticks in my head about what a dirty girl she is.
Yes, she is.
And I love it.
All right. Well, there you go.
There you go. The dirtiness of SOA.
Right.
I can't wait, dude. That's going to be fucking the bomb. I'm probably going to watch that one episode 10 times this week.
Nice.
Can't wait.